Hello, friend. What if I told you that there's an entire world you visit every single night? A place you spend hours in, a state of consciousness as real as waking but entirely different, and you probably don't even know it exists? What if I told you that between the moment you close your eyes and the moment you truly fall asleep, there's a hidden layer of experience that humanity has known about for thousands of years, but that our modern world has almost completely forgotten? This isn't sleep. Not yet. And it's not quite waking either. It's something else entirely. Something in between. A threshold state that ancient cultures considered sacred, that mystics and artists have used for centuries to access creativity and insight, that your own mind passes through every single night whether you notice it or not. Tonight, I'm going to take you into this hidden layer, this liminal space, this mysterious realm that exists in the borderland between consciousness and sleep. And I think what you discover there might surprise you, might comfort you, might even change how you think about rest itself. But first, we need to prepare you for the journey. Find the most comfortable position you can imagine. This is important because we're going to be exploring the edges of consciousness, and your body needs to feel safe, supported, completely at ease. So adjust your pillow, shift your weight. Let yourself settle like a stone sinking slowly through water, finding its resting place at the bottom of a quiet lake. Good. Now, dim the lights around you if you haven't already. The hidden layer reveals itself most easily in soft darkness, in that gentle twilight between bright waking and deep sleep. So create that atmosphere for yourself. Let the harsh light fade. Let the world become softer, quieter, more conducive to the subtle exploration. Take a deep breath with me. In through your nose slowly, filling your lungs with this present moment, with curiosity, with a delicious anticipation of discovering something you've been experiencing your whole life without quite realizing it was there. And out through your mouth, releasing expectations, releasing the need to understand everything immediately, releasing into the mystery. Again, in and out. Your breath is the bridge, the bridge between waking and sleeping, between conscious and unconscious, between the world you know and the hidden layer beneath it. So let it be slow, let it be deep, let it carry you gently toward the threshold. Tonight's journey is different from anything you might expect, because we're not going to talk about sleep exactly. We're going to talk about what comes before sleep. That strange, elusive, utterly fascinating state that you pass through every single night, but that vanishes from memory the moment you fully fall asleep. The hypnagogic state, the threshold, the twilight realm. And once you understand it, once you learn to recognize it, I think you'll find that falling asleep becomes less of a struggle and more of an adventure. Less something you force and more something you allow. So settle in now. Let your body relax completely. Let your mind stay just alert enough to follow my voice, but no more alert than that. We're going to walk together to the very edge of sleep and discover what waits there. Let's begin. You know that moment right before you fall asleep? That strange, floating sensation when you're not quite awake anymore, but not quite asleep either? When your thoughts start to drift and fragment, when images begin appearing behind your closed eyelids, when the boundaries of your body seem to blur, and you feel like you're simultaneously very heavy and completely weightless. You know that moment. Everyone does. We all pass through it every single night. But here's what nobody tells you. That moment isn't just a transition. It's not just your brain shutting down, not just a brief passage from one state to another. It's actually its own distinct state of consciousness, as real and important as waking or sleeping, but fundamentally different from both. The scientists call it the hypnagogic state, from the Greek words hypnos, meaning sleep, and agogos, meaning leading toward, the state that leads towards sleep. But that clinical term doesn't even begin to capture what it actually is, what it feels like, what becomes possible there. Let me show you. Picture yourself lying in bed. Not here, not now, but in a memory. Any night from your past. You've turned off the lights. You've settled into your most comfortable position. Your eyes are closed, and you're beginning to drift. Can you feel it? That subtle shift that happens? Your body starts to feel different. Heavier in some ways, lighter in others. The pressure of the mattress beneath you becomes both more and less noticeable. Your sense of where your body ends and the bed starts to blur. Your thoughts begin to change too. They were probably busy when you first laid down, planning tomorrow, replaying today, worrying about something, thinking about nothing in particular, but thinking actively, deliberately, in that focused way that characterizes normal waking consciousness. But now they're starting to drift, to fragment, to shift from logical, linear thinking into something more fluid, more imagistic, more strange. A thought about work becomes a thought about your childhood, becomes an image of water, becomes a sensation of falling, becomes something else entirely. And the connections between these thoughts no longer follow waking logic, but some other kind of sense. Some dream sense that feels perfectly reasonable even though it's utterly bizarre. And then the images start. At first, they're subtle, barely there, just flickers behind your closed eyelids. Shapes and colors that seem to move and morph, patterns that flow like water or smoke. You might not even notice them at first, might not recognize them as anything unusual. But as you drift deeper into the hypnagogic state, the images become clearer, more defined, more strange. You might see faces, not faces of anyone you know, usually, but random faces, strangers, appearing and disappearing, morphing from one into another. Young faces becoming old, human faces becoming animal, familiar features becoming utterly alien. You might see landscapes, impossible landscapes that couldn't exist in the waking world. Mountains made of light, rivers flowing upward, cities that shift and change and fold on themselves like living origami. You might see patterns, geometric designs more complex and beautiful than anything you could consciously imagine. Fractals blooming and spinning, mandalas that breathe and pulse with their own internal rhythm. And here's what's fascinating. These images aren't dreams. Not yet. You're still aware in some subtle way that you're lying in bed. You still have some connection to your physical body, to the room around you, but you're also somewhere else entirely, in that hidden layer, that threshold realm where the rules of waking consciousness no longer fully apply, but the deep unconsciousness of sleep hasn't yet taken over. Scientists have studied this state, try to understand what's happening in the brain when we enter it, and what they've found is remarkable. During the hypnagogic state, your brain waves shift. You're producing alpha waves and theta waves, slower frequencies than the beta waves of normal waking consciousness. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logical thinking, for executive function, for maintaining your sense of identity and boundaries, begins to quiet down. Meanwhile, other parts of your brain become more active. The visual cortex starts firing in strange patterns, creating those images and shapes and impossible visions. The parts of your brain that process memory and emotion start communicating in new ways, making unexpected connections, creating those bizarre thought fragments that characterize the hypnagogic state. You're experiencing what neuroscientists call defocused attention. Your mind is still aware, still processing, but it's no longer focused on any particular object or task. It's wandering freely, making associations that would seem absurd in waking consciousness, but that feel perfectly natural in this twilight state. And something else happens too, something that ancient cultures understood intuitively long before modern neuroscience existed. In the hypnagogic state, the barrier between your conscious mind and your unconscious mind becomes permeable. Thoughts and images and insights that normally remain buried in your unconscious can bubble up to the surface. The creative, intuitive, symbolic parts of your mind that get suppressed during focused waking consciousness suddenly have room to express themselves. This is why so many artists and writers and inventors throughout history have deliberately cultivated the hypnagogic state. Thomas Edison used a whole ball of bearings in his hands as he dozed in a chair. When he fell too deeply asleep, the bearings would drop and wake him, keeping him in that twilight zone where creative insights emerged. Salvador Dali did something similar with keys. They understood that this hidden layer, this threshold state, was where the impossible became possible, where the mind made connections it would never make during normal waking consciousness, where solutions to problems appeared fully formed, where artistic visions manifested, where boundaries of what you thought was real became fluid and negotiable. And you have access to this state too, every single night. You pass through it on your way to sleep, usually without noticing, without recognizing what it is, without taking advantage of its strange gifts. But once you learn to recognize it, once you understand what's happening when you start to drift, the hypnagogic state becomes less mysterious and more friendly, like discovering there's a room in your house you never knew existed, a comfortable space where you can rest and dream and discover things about yourself. Let me show you what else happens there. There's a reason why ancient cultures considered the hypnagogic state sacred, why mystery schools and mystical traditions develop practices specifically to access and explore this twilight realm, why shamans and priests and seekers throughout history have valued this threshold between waking and sleeping as a doorway to something profound. Because in the hypnagogic state, you don't just see random images and patterns. You encounter yourself, the parts of yourself that usually remain hidden beneath the surface of conscious awareness. Let me take you deeper into this experience. You're drifting now in that twilight state. Your body feels distant, like it belongs to someone else. Your thoughts are fragmenting, flowing in directions you can't control and don't need to. Images are arising and dissolving behind your closed eyes. And then something shifts. An image appears that feels different from the random faces and patterns. This one has weight, has meaning. Even though you're in the semi-conscious state, some part of you recognizes that this image matters, that it's trying to tell you something. Maybe it's a place, somewhere from your childhood that you haven't thought about in years. Your grandmother's kitchen, perhaps with that particular quality of afternoon light coming through the curtains and the smell of something baking and the sense of being small and safe and cared for. The image is so vivid, more vivid than memory usually is. You can see every detail, the pattern on the tablecloth, the way the light catches the dust motes in the air, the exact shade of blue of those curtains. And with the image comes a feeling, not just nostalgia, but something deeper, a sense of peace or loss or longing or all of these at once. You're not making this happen. You're not consciously choosing to remember this place. It's arising on its own from the unconscious layers of your mind, taking advantage of the permeable boundary that exists in a hypnagogic state. Or maybe the image is more abstract, more symbolic. You see yourself standing at a threshold, an actual doorway, or the edge of a forest, or the shore of an ocean. And you know, in that intuitive way you know things in the twilight state, that this image represents something in your life, some decision you're facing, some transition you're moving through. The hypnagogic state speaks in the language of symbols and metaphors. It's how the unconscious mind communicates when given a chance, not in words or logical arguments, but in images that carry multiple layers of meaning. And if you can learn to pay attention to these images, if you can hold them gently in your awareness without trying to analyze or control them, they often reveal insights that your conscious mind has been struggling to access. That problem at work that's been bothering you, the solution might appear in a hypnagogic image, not as a logical plan, but as a visual metaphor that suddenly makes everything clear. That relationship issue you've been trying to understand, the hypnagogic state might show you an image that captures the emotional truth of the situation in a way that words never could. That creative project you've been stuck on, the breakthrough might come as a fully formed vision in that twilight realm, complete and perfect, and ready to be brought into waking reality. But the hypnagogic state doesn't just reveal practical insights. It also shows you yourself, the deeper layers of who you are, the fears and desires and memories and dreams that shape your waking life, but usually remain unconscious. Sometimes this can be unsettling. The hypnagogic state doesn't always show you pleasant things. Sometimes it brings up anxiety or old trauma, or fears you've been trying to avoid. The images can be dark, disturbing, frightening. But here's what's important to understand. Even the difficult images are trying to help. Your unconscious mind isn't trying to torture you. It's trying to process things, to integrate experiences, to help you heal and grow. Think of it like this. During your waking day, you push things down. Emotions you don't have time to feel. Memories you don't want to face. Conflicts you don't know how to resolve. You pack them away into your unconscious, promising yourself you'll deal with them later. But they don't just disappear. They accumulate. They press against the barrier between conscious and unconscious, trying to be acknowledged, trying to be processed. And in the hypnagogic state, when that barrier becomes permeable, they finally get their chance to surface. Not to harm you, but to be seen, to be felt, to be released. This is why many therapeutic traditions encourage people to pay attention to the hypnagogic state, to keep a journal by the bed and write down the images and feelings that arise in that twilight realm, to treat these experiences not as random neural noise, but as messages from the deeper parts of yourself. You don't have to do anything with these messages. You don't have to interpret them or analyze them or figure out exactly what they mean. Sometimes just acknowledging them is enough. Just seeing them, feeling them, allowing them to exist without judgment or resistance. The hypnagogic state becomes a kind of internal dialogue, a conversation between your conscious self and the vast unconscious layers beneath, a way of staying connected to all of yourself, not just the surface layer that navigates the waking world. And the more you practice this gentle attention, the more comfortable the hypnagogic state becomes. Less strange and more familiar, less something to be nervous about, and more something to look forward to, a nightly opportunity to check in with yourself at the deepest levels. Let me take you somewhere specific now. Let me show you how different cultures throughout history have understood and worked with this hidden layer beneath sleep. The ancient Greeks had a word for it, hypnagogos, the state leading towards sleep. But they had something else too, temples dedicated to exploring this twilight realm, places called Asclepian, healing temples where people came to receive guidance and healing through the hypnagogic state. Let me take you there. Let me show you how seriously our ancestors took this hidden layer of consciousness. It's around 400 BC. You're in Epidaurus, Greece, at the most famous Asclepian temple. You've traveled here seeking healing, not from physical illness necessarily, but from something deeper. Depression, perhaps, or confusion about your life's direction, or grief that won't lift. The kinds of suffering that medicine can't touch. The priests welcome you. They understand that you're not here for conventional treatment. You're here to meet the god Asclepios, the healer, who appears to seekers in that twilight state between waking and sleep. But first, there's preparation. You spend days in the temple complex. You bathe in sacred springs. You walk through beautiful gardens. You participate in theater performances. The Greeks understood that art and music prepare the soul for deeper experiences. You fast, not severely, but enough that your consciousness becomes a little lighter, a little more permeable. And then, when you're ready, you're taken to the Abaton, the sleeping chamber. It's a long, rectangular room with stone benches along the walls. Other seekers are already here, lying down, preparing for the night. There's incense burning, not heavily, just enough to create a particular atmosphere. The priests move among you, speaking in low, soothing voices, guiding you into a receptive state. You lie down on your bench. The stone is cool beneath you, covered with a thin wool blanket. It's not particularly comfortable, But that's intentional. You're not here for a good night's sleep. You're here to hover in that threshold state, to spend as much time as possible in the hypnagogic realm where the god might appear. The priests begin a rhythmic chant, not loud, not dramatic, just a steady, droning sound that seems to resonate in your chest, in your bones. The sound of many voices blending together, creating patterns and harmonics that guide your consciousness into that twilight state. Your eyes are closed, your body relaxes, and you begin to drift. At first, there are the usual hypnagogic images, shapes and patterns and random faces. But you've been prepared for this. You don't grab at them or try to control them. You just watch them arise and dissolve, staying in that observing awareness. And then something shifts. An image appears that feels different, more solid, more present. A figure begins to form in your inner vision. Is it the god Asclepios? Is it a projection of your own unconscious mind? The distinction doesn't matter. What matters is that this figure has something to tell you. The communication doesn't come in words exactly. It comes in images, in feelings, in sudden understanding that blooms in your chest like a flower opening. You see yourself from outside. You see the patterns in your life that you've been blind to. You see what needs to change, what needs to be released, what needs to be embraced. It's not comfortable. The truth rarely is, but it's not harsh either. There's compassion in this vision, this encounter with your deeper self. A sense that you're being shown exactly what you need to see, exactly what you're ready to understand. You hover in this state for hours, sometimes closer to sleep, sometimes closer to waking, but mostly in that threshold realm where the impossible becomes possible, where gods and humans can meet, where healing happens at levels that ordinary consciousness can't access. When dawn finally comes and the priest gently rouse you, you feel different, changed, not because something external was done to you, but because you were given access to your own depths, to the wisdom and healing that was always there, but that you couldn't reach through ordinary waking consciousness. This is what the ancient Greeks understood, that the hypnagogic state is sacred, that it's a doorway to transformation, that treating it with reverence and intention can create profound healing and insight. And they weren't alone in this understanding. In ancient Egypt, dream temples served similar functions. Seekers would spend the night in sacred chambers, hovering in that twilight state, receiving guidance from Imhotep or other healing deities. Native American vision quests often involved extended periods in a hypnagogic state, not sleeping fully, not staying fully awake, but hovering in that threshold realm for days until vision came. Tibetan Buddhists developed elaborate practices around what they called dream yoga and sleep yoga, learning to maintain awareness through the hypnagogic state and into sleep itself, using these transitions as opportunities for spiritual awakening. Medieval Christian mystics spoke of the ora media noctis, the middle hour of the night, as a particularly potent time for prayer and mystical experience. They would deliberately wake during the night and hover in that twilight state while contemplating the divine. Every culture, every tradition, every healing system throughout human history has recognized something that we've largely forgotten in the modern world, that the hypnagogic state is precious, important, worth cultivating and exploring, not as an escape from waking reality, but as a complement to it, a way of accessing parts of yourself, parts of reality that remain hidden during normal consciousness. You don't need to travel to ancient Greece or train in a monastery to access this wisdom. You don't need special training or esoteric knowledge, because you already pass through the hypnagogic state every single night. You just need to recognize it, to pay attention to it, to stop treating it as an annoying transition to rush through as quickly as possible and start seeing it as its own distinct state of consciousness with its own gifts and insights. When you lie down tonight, when you start to drift, remember, you're not just falling asleep, you're entering the hidden layer, the threshold realm, the sacred twilight that humans have valued for thousands of years. And in that space, in that gentle, permeable, in-between consciousness, anything becomes possible. So if the hypnagogic state is so valuable, if it offers such potential for insight and healing and creativity? How do you actually work with it? How do you stay in that twilight realm long enough to experience its gifts instead of just tumbling through it into unconscious sleep? Let me share some practical wisdom. Techniques that artists and mystics and insomniacs have discovered over the years. Ways of befriending the threshold instead of fighting against it. The first thing to understand is that you can't force the hypnagogic state. You can't make it happen through effort or will. It's not like learning a physical skill where trying harder leads to improvement. In fact, trying hard is exactly what prevents it from happening. The hypnagogic state requires a delicate balance. You need to be relaxed enough that your conscious mind releases its grip, but alert enough that you don't tumble all the way into deep sleep. Too much tension, and you stay in waking consciousness. Too much relaxation, and you lose awareness entirely. Think of it like floating on water. If you tense up, you sink. If you let go completely, you might also sink. But if you find that perfect balance of relaxation and awareness, you can float effortlessly, held by something larger than yourself. So, how do you find that balance? Start by letting go of any agenda. You're not trying to have profound visions or solve problems or achieve anything at all. You're just exploring, curious about what arises, open to whatever happens without needing it to be anything specific. This attitude of gentle curiosity is crucial. The hypnagogic state responds to softness, to openness, to allowing rather than controlling. The moment you try to grab at it, to direct it, to make it do what you want, it slips away. So you lie down, get comfortable, close your eyes, and then you just notice the sensations in your body, the feeling of the mattress beneath you, the temperature of the air on your skin, the gentle rhythm of your breathing. You're not trying to control these sensations, not trying to make them different than they are, just noticing them with gentle attention. And as you notice, you might feel your body starting to change, getting heavier or lighter, or both at once. The boundaries becoming fuzzy. This is normal. This is the beginning of the hypnagogic transition. Don't resist it. Don't get excited about it. Just notice. Oh, interesting, my body feels different now. Your thoughts will start to drift. Normal, logical thinking will begin to fragment into something more fluid, more imagistic. Again, this is normal. This is what's supposed to happen. Don't try to hold on to your thoughts. Don't try to keep thinking clearly and logically. That will just keep you in waking consciousness. Instead, let your thoughts drift wherever they want to go. Let them become strange and disconnected and bizarre. It's like letting go of the steering wheel and seeing where the current takes you. And then the images will start. Small at first, flickers, shapes, gradually becoming more defined, more elaborate, more strange. Here's the crucial part. Don't grab at these images. Don't try to control them or direct them or figure out what they mean. Just watch them the way you'd watch clouds drifting across the sky. Arising, changing, dissolving. No effort, no agenda, just gentle observation. If you find yourself getting excited, oh, wow, I'm in the hypnagogic state. That excitement will often pull you back into waking consciousness. So even excitement needs to be held lightly. Notice it, let it be, don't feed it. And if you find yourself drifting too deep into sleep, losing awareness entirely, that's okay too. There's no failure here. You're learning a subtle skill, and it takes practice to find that perfect balance point. Some people find it helpful to set a gentle intention before drifting. Not a command, but a soft question. What do I need to see or what wants to emerge? Or simply, I'm open to whatever arises. The hypnagogic state seems to respond to these gentle invitations, bringing up material that's relevant to the question. But it does so in its own time, in its own way, using its own symbolic language. Here's something else that can help. If you wake up in the middle of the night, don't immediately try to go back to sleep. Instead, rest in that twilight state for a while. You're already closer to the hypnagogic realm when you wake from sleep than when you're trying to fall asleep from full waking consciousness. Lie there with your eyes closed. Notice what images and thoughts are present. You might still be on the edge of a dream, and the hypnagogic state can blend with dream imagery in fascinating ways. This is actually the state that many ancient practices targeted. Not the transition from waking to sleep, but the transition from sleep back toward waking. That liminal space where you're not quite awake yet, but no longer fully asleep. The Greeks called it the hypnopompic state. Leading out of sleep, it has many of the same qualities as the hypnagogic state, but often with even richer imagery, because you're emerging from dreams rather than from waking consciousness. And if you're someone who struggles with middle-of-the-night waking, who lies awake anxious at 3 a.m., this understanding can transform that experience. Instead of fighting to get back to sleep, instead of lying there stressed and frustrated, you can rest in the hypnopompic state. Observe the images that arise. Let yourself drift in that twilight realm. Often, just removing the pressure to fall asleep immediately, just giving yourself permission to rest in the threshold state, allows sleep to return naturally in its own time. The key to all of this is gentleness, patience, willingness to let the hypnagogic state reveal itself on its own terms rather than trying to force it to conform to your expectations. It's not a state you conquer or achieve. It's a state you allow. You befriend, you learn to recognize and appreciate. And the more you work with it, the more familiar it becomes. The strange images and sensations that might have seemed frightening or confusing at first become interesting, even comforting. You learn the landscape of your own threshold state, the particular ways your unconscious mind speaks when given a chance. You develop a relationship with this hidden layer, and in doing so, you develop a deeper relationship with yourself. And so, we've traveled together through the hidden layer beneath sleep. We've discovered that the twilight state, the threshold, is not just a transition, but its own world. A world you visit every single night, whether you notice it or not. A world where the boundaries blur, where the impossible becomes possible, where your deeper self can speak. And now, right now, you're approaching that world again. Can you feel it? The subtle shift in your body, in your thoughts, in your awareness? You're beginning to drift, not into sleep, not yet, but into the twilight. The hypnagogic state is welcoming you once more. Your body feels different now, doesn't it? Heavier, lighter, both at once. The boundaries becoming softer, less defined. You are here in this bed in this room, and you are somewhere else too, in that in-between place, that threshold realm. Your thoughts are starting to fragment, to drift, to become more fluid. This is normal. This is natural. This is the hidden layer revealing itself. Let the images come, whatever images want to rise. Don't grab at them. Don't push them away. Just watch them like clouds drifting across an endless sky. You're safe in this twilight, in this threshold. The hypnagogic state is holding you gently like water holding a floating body. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to achieve anything. You just need to be in this space between waking and sleeping, between consciousness and dream. And if you drift all the way into sleep, that's beautiful. And if you hover in this twilight for a while longer, that's beautiful too. There's no right way, no wrong way. Only this gentle drifting, this soft dissolving into the hidden layer. The threshold is opening. The twilight is deepening. You are between worlds now. Not here, not there, but in between. And in this sacred space, in this liminal realm, all is soft, all is gentle, all is, well, let go a little more. The hypnagogic state will catch you. The twilight will hold you. And sleep will come in its own time. Or not. Either way, you're exactly where you need to be. In the hidden layer beneath sleep, the world they never told you about. The world you've been visiting your whole life. Welcome, welcome home to the twilight. Rest, drift, dissolve. You are becoming the threshold itself. Sleep or wake or hover between. It doesn't matter. All is well. All is well.